Schreiber, heartbroken and consumed by jealousy, harbored a deep resentment towards Franz Ferdinand. The diary hinted at clandestine meetings between Sophie and Schreiber after his dismissal, their conversations cloaked in secrecy. Weiss felt a knot tighten in his stomach. Could Schreiber, fueled by anger and despair, have been manipulated by the Iron Guardians to become their unwitting pawn? The final entries in the diary were the most cryptic. They spoke of a dark plot brewing within the court, a threat to Franz Ferdinand and his vision for a reformed Austro-Hungary. Sophie mentioned coded messages exchanged with Schreiber, desperate pleas for him to stay away from certain individuals. The last entry, scrawled in a hurried hand, ended abruptly with a chilling premonition. I fear for Franz's life. They will stop at nothing. Weiss slammed the diary shut, his heart pounding. The pieces were falling into place. Schreiber, ostracized and vengeful, became a target for the Iron Guardians. They used his resentment to manipulate him, feeding him information about the Archduke's movements and exploiting his emotional vulnerability. Sophie, sensing the danger, tried to warn him, but it was too late. He knew he had to find Schreiber, the only surviving witness to the plotters' machinations. Armed with renewed purpose, Weiss embarked on a final chase, determined to bring the truth to light, even if it meant confronting ghosts from the past. The village where Franz Schreiber lived his final years was shrouded in a melancholic silence. The abandoned house stood like a skeletal monument to a life consumed by bitterness. Weiss, accompanied by a local guide, navigated the overgrown path leading to the village cemetery. Headstones, weathered and moss-covered, lined the path. Finally, they found it, a simple grave with a single inscription, Franz Schreiber. 1870 to 1930. A life of quiet devotion. Weiss felt a pang of empathy for the man. Schreiber, a pawn in a deadly game, had spent his life consumed by regret. He knelt beside the grave, a single white rose clutched in his hand. The truth is finally coming, Franz, he whispered, the wind carrying his words away. Back in his Vienna apartment, Weiss delved into the last leg of his investigation. He scoured military records, piecing together Schreiber's final years. He discovered that Schreiber, ostracized from the military and ostracized from Sophie's life, had become a recluse, his bitterness festering. Then, a breakthrough. A villager from Schreiber's former home village recalled a peculiar visitor from years ago, a man with a distinguished air and a cold glint in his eyes. The description matched Baron von Strauss perfectly. Weiss now understood the full picture. The Iron Guardians, through Baron von Strauss, had cultivated Schreiber's resentment, feeding him information about the Archduke's movements and hinting at a future where Franz Ferdinand's reforms would destroy everything he held dear. Blinded by anger and a distorted sense of patriotism, Schreiber had unwittingly become their instrument. He had likely provided the Iron Guardians with crucial details about the Archduke's visit to Sarajevo, details that allowed them to orchestrate the assassination and manipulate Princip and the Black Hand. Schreiber, forever burdened by his actions, had retreated into a life of quiet solitude, carrying his guilt to the grave. Armed with a wealth of circumstantial evidence, Sophie's diary, historical records, and eyewitness accounts, Weiss prepared to present his findings. He knew it wouldn't be easy. Powerful forces would resist the truth, fearing the destabilization it could bring. However, he was determined to expose the conspiracy, to give Franz Ferdinand and Sophie the justice they deserved. So, there you have it. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, a story with more twists and turns than a Viennese waltz. But the mystery doesn't end there. Inspector Gruber's buried report hints at a deeper conspiracy, one that remains shrouded in secrecy. But what do you think? Was Franz Ferdinand truly the victim of a nationalist plot, or was there a more powerful force at play? Let me know your theories in the comments below.